They rode horses, not desks. They lived by their own code, not society's rules. These men, often romanticized in popular culture, were America's outlaws, etched in our imagination as symbols of rebellion and freedom. Their stories, shrouded in myth and legend, continue to captivate us. But who were these men beyond the wanted posters and dime novels? What drove them to a life on the run? Let's delve into the secret lives of these notorious figures and uncover the man behind the mask. The allure of the outlaw is deeply rooted in the American psyche. From the dusty trails of the Wild West to the silver screen, these figures have been immortalized as rugged individuals who defied the norms of their time. They were seen as both heroes and villains, depending on who was telling the story. Their lives were a complex tapestry of crime, survival, and a relentless pursuit of freedom. Take Jesse James, for instance. To some, he was a Robin Hood-like figure, stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. To others, he was a cold-blooded killer, a man who thrived on chaos and violence. Billy the Kid, another infamous outlaw, was said to have killed 21 men, one for each year of his life. But beyond the sensational headlines and the folklore, these men were products of their environment, shaped by the harsh realities of their time. The West was a land of opportunity, but also a land of lawlessness. For many, becoming an outlaw was not a choice, but a necessity. Economic hardship, lack of opportunities, and the constant threat of violence pushed them to the fringes of society. They became outlaws not because they wanted to, but because they had to. As we explore their lives, we begin to see the human side of these legendary figures. They were not just outlaws, they were men trying to survive in a brutal and unforgiving world. So let's journey back in time and uncover the man behind the mask. Jesse James, the farmer-turned-soldier-turned-outlaw, remains a legend. His gang's daring bank and train robberies made headlines and terrified the nation. Billy the Kid, with his boyish looks and lightning-fast draw, became a Wild West icon. His escapades in the Lincoln County War cemented his place in outlaw history. These men, both tragically cut down in their primes, transcended mere criminals to become folk heroes. Jesse, deeply affected by the Civil War, saw his robberies as a form of retaliation against a government he perceived as corrupt. Born in 1847 in Missouri, Jesse James grew up in a tumultuous time. The Civil War tore through his home state, leaving scars that would shape his future. As a young man, he joined Confederate guerrilla groups, engaging in brutal skirmishes that hardened him. When the war ended, Jesse found himself unable to reintegrate into a society he felt had betrayed him. His transition to a life of crime seemed almost inevitable. He viewed his robberies not just as a means to an end, but as acts of defiance against a system he believed had wronged him and his family. His targets were often banks and trains, symbols of the establishment he so despised. He was, however, known for his politeness to civilians during heists. This peculiar code of conduct earned him a reputation as a gentleman bandit. Stories abound of Jesse ensuring that innocent bystanders were unharmed, even going so far as to return personal items taken during a robbery. This duality made him a complex figure, both feared and admired by those who knew of his exploits. Billy, orphaned at a young age, drifted into a life of gambling and gunfighting. Born Henry McCarty in 1859, Billy the Kid faced hardship from the start. Orphaned by the age of 15, he was left to navigate a harsh world on his own. He quickly fell into a life of petty crime, which escalated to more serious offenses. By his late teens, Billy had become a notorious figure in the American Southwest, known for his quick draw and fearless demeanor. His life was a constant cycle of gambling, gunfights, and narrow escapes from the law. He was known for his charisma and surprising literacy in the rough-and-tumble world he inhabited. Despite his outlaw status, Billy was a charismatic figure, able to charm those around him. He was also surprisingly literate, often writing letters to newspapers to defend his actions and plead his case. This intellectual side added another layer to his already multifaceted persona, making him a subject of fascination for both contemporaries and historians alike. These glimpses into their personal lives add layers of complexity to their outlaw personas. Jesse James and Billy the Kid were more than just criminals. They were products of their time, shaped by the social and political upheavals of their era. Their stories, filled with contradictions and complexities, continue to captivate us, offering a window into the turbulent world of the American Old West. Through their lives, we see the blurred lines between heroism and villainy, making us question our own perceptions of right and wrong. Shadows of the West's lesser-known legends. Beyond the household names lurk lesser-known figures like John Wesley Hardin, the deadliest gun in the West, who claimed to have killed over 40 men. Then there's Belle Starr, the bandit queen, who ran with outlaws and rustlers, challenging societal norms with her audacity. These lesser-known figures, with their own tales of daring and desperation, enrich the tapestry of American outlaw history. Daring feats and notorious exploits. In the annals of American history, few figures have captured the public's imagination quite like the outlaws of the Old West. These men, often seen as both heroes and villains, lived lives filled with danger, adventure, and a certain rebellious charm that continues to fascinate us to this day. One tale recounts how, after a robbery, Jesse James's gang was being pursued. The posse was relentless, determined to bring the notorious outlaws to justice. As the chase intensified, the gang found themselves cornered with no apparent means of escape. The tension was palpable, every second ticking by like a countdown to their capture. Realizing they were trapped, Jesse did the unthinkable. He rode his horse directly at the posse, dispersing them and escaping. This audacious move not only saved his gang, but also added another layer to his already larger-than-life persona. It was acts like these that made Jesse James a legend in his own time, a figure both feared and admired. Billy the Kid, after being sentenced to hang, killed 2 deputies and escaped, cementing his reputation as a cunning and resourceful outlaw. His escape was nothing short of miraculous, a testament to his quick thinking and fearless nature. Stories of his exploits spread like wildfire, each tale more incredible than the last. These daring acts, often embellished over time, fueled their legend and captivated the public's imagination. Newspapers of the era were filled with sensational stories of their exploits, each headline more dramatic than the last. People would gather in saloons and around campfires, sharing tales of these notorious figures, their deeds growing more fantastical with each retelling. The legends of Jesse James and Billy the Kid have endured for generations, a testament to the enduring allure of the outlaw archetype in American culture. The long arm of the law, a game of cat and mouse. Law enforcement agencies struggled to keep up with these agile criminals. The Pinkerton Detective Agency, hired to bring down the James Younger gang, employed innovative tactics for the time, such as undercover work and wanted posters. Despite their efforts, these outlaws, masters of disguise and evasion, often remained one step ahead. Enduring legends, outlaws in American folklore. These outlaws, romanticized in life and legend, continue to fascinate us. They represent a time of American history when the West was wild, opportunity was rife, and justice was often a matter of perspective. Their stories, passed down through generations, serve as cautionary tales and thrilling adventures, reminding us of a time when the lines between